You know, sometimes life throws challenges at us that feel bigger than we can possibly bear. They are invisible weights that accumulate, wearing down the soul and eroding hope. And most of the time, these challenges appear exactly where we least expect them, or worse, where we most desire peace, comfort, and stability. In our own home, in our most intimate, most vulnerable, most sacred relationship. Marriage. It is within the home that we expect to find refuge, but it is there that the greatest storms can form, testing every fiber of our being and the very foundations of our union. When love is put to the test, it feels like everything around us crumbles. The walls of the home that once provided a secure embrace transform into silent borders. What was once a place of laughter and complicity becomes a territory of tension, pain, loaded silence, where every unspoken word weighs like a stone. And you might even ask yourself with a heavy heart, how did we get here? Where did all the sparkle, the joy, the connection get lost? Is there still something to be saved? And at that instant, perhaps you feel an overwhelming urge to flee, to hide, to pretend you feel nothing anymore, to silence yourself to avoid further confrontations or disappointments. But I want to ask you one thing. Take a deep breath. Stay with me in this conversation, because above all, you are not alone. Yes, you. Even if your heart is shattered into 1,000 pieces that seem impossible to mend, even if you've cried secretly into your pillow, trying to muffle your sobs so no one perceives your pain, even if you're carrying a weight that no one sees, a silent anguish that consumes you from within, even if you're trying to smile on the outside, performing normalcy for the world, while everything inside seems to be crumbling into a private chaos. You are not alone. It is human to feel pain. It is natural to feel lost, disoriented, not knowing where to go. But it is possible to start over. There is a way back, a thread of hope that can guide you, and it begins with the courageous decision to look inward, with truth, with unwavering courage, and above all, with faith that something greater is watching over you. I want to talk to you like a true friend who genuinely cares, who doesn't judge you for your feelings or your flaws, who understands that love sometimes falls ill, that it gets lost amidst challenges, but that it can, yes, heal and flourish again. I want to offer you a shoulder to lean on, a comforting word that soothes the soul, a gaze of hope that rekindles the inner flame. Because there is light. There is always light. Even on the darkest days, even when the sky seems completely overcast, there is a glimmer that insists on manifesting itself. Marriage problems, a more common reality than it seems. Let's talk openly, without taboos or idealizations. Marriages, even the most beautiful ones that began with the most overwhelming passion, face storms. Crises are not signs of failure, but an inevitable part of the cycle of life together, like alternating seasons. Time, with its demands and responsibilities, brings challenges that require constant effort and dedication. The arrival and raising of children, financial pressures, the burden of career, the emotional wear and tear of routine, unexpressed frustrations that turn into silent resentments, old wounds from each person that reappear as ghosts from the past. All of this, if not cared for with attention and affection, accumulates like dust that silently settles in the corners of the house and soul, until everything becomes dull, lifeless, almost unrecognizable. And at this point of exhaustion, it's more than common to think, am I the only one going through this? Is my marriage condemned to failure? Is love truly gone? The answer, my friend, is a resounding and comforting no. You are not alone in this pain, and this pain, however sharp it may be, does not mean the end of everything. Your marriage is not an exception. The struggle is part of almost every couple's journey. What differs is how each chooses to face this reality. The pain you feel now can have deep roots, often hidden beneath layers of time and silence. It may have been generated by unspoken words that turned into resentments, by broken promises that undermined trust, by soul-stirring disagreements that distanced hearts that once beat together. It may come from past traumas, from family experiences that taught distorted ways of loving or avoiding conflict, or sometimes it simply arises from chronic fatigue, from the exhausting routine that drains energy, from the lack of time and space to cultivate what was once so beautiful and vibrant, transforming passion into a cold routine. But no matter how bleak and insurmountable this phase may seem now, believe with all your might, it is possible to rebuild, it is possible to rewrite this story. Marriage does not have to be a prison of pain or a constant struggle against each other. It can, with divine patience, open and sincere dialogue, and a genuine surrender to transformation, return to being the space of love, peace, complicity, and welcome that you so deeply desire and deserve. Feelings we all face and deserve welcome and understanding. Perhaps you are now overwhelmed by an explosive mix of confused and contradictory feelings, a deep sadness that squeezes your chest until you can barely breathe, a rage that hurts not only the other, but primarily yourself, an overwhelming frustration at not being understood or at not being able to express yourself, the paralyzing fear of losing everything, of being alone, insecurity about the future, about yourself, about the relationship, and even a hidden shame for feeling all of this, for not being able to maintain the facade of a perfect marriage. And I want to tell you, with all my affection and truth, it's okay to feel. It's okay not to be okay. In a society that demands unrealistic perfection from us, especially on social media, where everything seems ideal and lives are filtered, it's incredibly difficult to admit that something is wrong, that the happiness displayed is just a facade. But the liberating truth is that we can only heal what we have the courage to acknowledge, to face head-on, without fear. Don't be afraid of your emotions. They are not, and never will be, a sign of weakness. They are in fact a sign that you care, that you still love deeply, that you want to change and fight for something that still holds value. And do you know the secret behind all of this? Feeling is not the end of the line, it's the beginning. It's the raw material for transformation, the fuel for change. With time, with introspection, and with faith, you can learn to transform sadness into compassion, for yourself and for the other, resentment into liberating forgiveness, paralyzing fear into courage to take the next step. But above all, you can transform this painful crisis into a powerful call to know yourself better, to heal your own wounds, and to strengthen your deepest roots, becoming a more complete and resilient person. What to do in a crisis? A practical step-by-step guide to starting over and not giving up. I know that at first glance everything seems very complicated, a labyrinth with no exit, and the fear that everything is over is gigantic, almost insurmountable. But I want to show you a possible path, a road of hope that reveals itself step by step, one action at a time, so you don't feel overwhelmed. Remember, great reconstructions don't happen overnight, but are made of small daily movements, consistency, and faith. Pay deep attention to your pain and your inner self. Before attempting to solve anything external, before blaming, complaining, it is fundamental to stop, feel. Allow yourself to acknowledge what is hurting you, in your heart, in your soul. Don't rush to solve everything quickly, as haste can create more wounds. There is healing in pausing, in silent reflection. There is strength in brutal honesty with yourself. Set aside a few minutes of your day to reflect, alone, without distractions. Take a deep breath, acknowledge your emotions, be it anger, sadness, frustration, or insecurity. Write about them, pray for clarity, cry if you need to. Embrace your vulnerability as a sacred part of the healing process. Giving this space to your heart is fundamental to gain clarity and strength for the next step. Remember who you were before the pain and what united you. Amidst the chaos, it's easy to forget, but make an effort to recall, who were you when you fell in love? What did you dream of for the future, for your family? What values guided you and what ideals were shared? Going back to the beginning, to the origins, to happy memories, helps to reconnect with the initial motivation of the relationship and to see if there is still a possible meeting point, a flame that can be rekindled. The story does not disappear, it just needs to be reviewed. Restore communication with sincerity and kindness. Talking, truly talking, is the fundamental pillar. But not just any conversation, rather, one that stems from a sincere desire to understand the other and to be understood without defenses. Speak calmly, with an open heart, without accusations, judgments, or harsh words that only serve to create more barriers. Talk about your feelings, I feel, your intentions to improve, and listen actively with empathy to what the other has to say, without interrupting or rebutting. Sometimes the simple desire to be heard, to be seen in your pain, makes all the difference and can initiate a process of mutual disarmament. Bring back small gestures of love and affection. The loving good morning in the morning, the unpretentious compliment about something you admire in the other, a gentle touch on the shoulder that says, "I'm here," an unexpected note on the coffee table, a prolonged gaze that says, "I still care about you. I still love you." These details, however small they may seem, are like dewdrops on dry land, capable of creating cracks in the wall of silence and resentment. And through these cracks, the light of affection re-enters, rekindling the connection. Seek professional help without hesitation. If you feel that the situation is too difficult, that the wounds are too deep to be healed just between you, or that you are not able to move forward alone, do not hesitate. Seeking couples therapy, individual therapy, or counseling is a sign of immense strength, courage, and a genuine desire to save what can still be saved. Qualified professionals can help you understand what is behind the problem, identify behavioral patterns, teach effective communication techniques, and, fundamentally, reconnect you with what is best in the relationship, with the essence of the love that united you. Make small changes, but with consistency and persistence. Great transformations are the sum of small daily actions. Sometimes a simple attitude, like paying more attention to what the other likes, or committing to improving a specific area of coexistence, communication, quality time, patience, makes a monumental difference over time. Remember that the growth of a relationship, just like our own growth, is made up of small conscious daily actions. Truly forgiving, sincerely apologizing, complimenting at every opportunity, listening with the heart. All of this builds a solid foundation upon true feelings and a renewed commitment. Be patient and gentle with the process. No one heals a big wound in a day. The reconstruction of a relationship, especially when resentments are deep, takes time, requires continuous effort, a huge dose of courage, and above all, unwavering hope. Be patient with yourself, with your own feelings, and with your partner. The process is gradual, with advances and setbacks, but with each step, however small, you are investing in your future and in the future of your love. Internal changes are also fundamental for the flourishing of love. Despite all the desire to improve the relationship and focus on the other, it is important, if not essential, to also take care of yourself. Dedicating time for yourself, for your soul, for your mind, is an act of self-love and wisdom. Reflecting on your own emotions, your individual dreams, your deepest pains, your unmet needs, helps strengthen your self-esteem and restore your emotional balance. When we are more internally balanced, we can better deal with external difficulties, communicate with more serenity, make decisions with more clarity, and act with more wisdom and compassion within the relationship. Seek activities that give you genuine pleasure, that bring peace and lightness to your heart. It can be a walk in nature, breathing fresh air, and connecting with beauty, a book that transports you to other worlds, the practice of meditation that calms the mind, an art that allows you to express what you feel, or anything else that helps restore your vital energy and rekindle the flame of hope within you. This self-care is not selfishness. It is a fundamental investment in your well-being and consequently in the health of your relationship. No storm lasts forever, the promise of renewal. Even when the sky seems permanently grey, believe the storm passes. It always passes. The pain softens, tears dry, the heart renews itself. Love can be reborn from the ashes, as so many real stories prove. Couples who hurt each other, got lost, but who found each other again with more maturity, more respect, more truth. And if in the end the relationship cannot be saved, you will still have grown. You will have learned, you will have become stronger, more conscious, more prepared to live love fully. No crisis is in vain. You don't have to do it alone. The power of support. I know that sometimes there's an enormous desire to give up, to close the door for good, to withdraw to protect your heart from more suffering. But remember, with all your strength, you don't have to cross this sea of difficulties alone. Loneliness is an unbearable burden when we carry pain. Seek support from trustworthy friends who genuinely care, from family members who offer genuine support, from professionals who can provide the right tools for healing. Sharing your emotions, your deepest fears, your dreams for a better relationship makes all the difference in the healing and transformation process. The voice that silences gets sick. The voice that opens begins to heal. But above all, be gentle with yourself. Don't blame yourself for feeling all of this, for being in crisis, for having weaknesses. Don't demand perfection from yourself. You are doing the best you can with the tools you have right now. And that is already an immense victory, a testament to your strength and resilience. Hope is a daily choice. Plant and cultivate it. No matter how difficult and gray the moment, plant hope every day. It is not a naive hope that ignores the pain, but an active hope that chooses to believe in the possibility of better days. Find reasons, however small, to keep going. Perhaps it's your child, the flame of your faith that still burns, a happy memory that guides you, a hope to improve, to start over, to live a full love. Every new dawn is an opportunity to start over, to try one more time, to choose love and peace, to take one step forward, however small. Believe in your ability to transform and to be happy. Remember, we rise together. In this journey of reconstruction, healing, and renewal, you will never be alone. There is a greater force that unites hearts, that sustains those who fall, a hope that never dies, for it comes from an inexhaustible source. And that force is in your every hope, in your unwavering will to fight for a better relationship, in your courage to start over as many times as necessary. To conclude, a message that echoes in the soul. I know that today, everything may seem dark, too heavy to bear. Words may seem distant, but I want you to carry with you a message of strength and hope that echoes in your heart. No problem is greater than your capacity to overcome, as long as you have the courage to take the first step and trust the process. Do not listen to the voice of surrender, the one that whispers it's not worth it. Listen to your heart, the voice of your soul, which longs for peace and love. There is still light, there is still love, there is still strength and hope within you, waiting to be rediscovered and rekindled. All you need is patience, a little active hope, and the unwavering certainty that together, with support, with faith, and with persistence, we can always rise. You are not alone, and somehow we can always start over, as many times as necessary, in search of a fuller life and a truer love. May the peace that surpasses all understanding flood your heart in this moment. Remember that in every challenge there is an opportunity in disguise, and that divine strength is always by your side, whispering that you are loved and capable. Trust the journey, trust yourself, and above all, trust in God. He is guiding you. This is not the end, but the beautiful beginning of a new story. And if this video spoke to your heart in any way, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Share it with someone you love too. Your support means so much and helps this message reach even more people. And remember, we rise together.